Hello everyone, welcome back to supplychainway.com. I am Alvis Lazarus. So in this video session, what we are going to see is key warehouse optimization techniques. I'm going to explain you 10 different techniques which play a very vital role in optimizing a warehouse in terms of efficiency as well as cost. Let's get it started. So the first technique I'm going to explain, it is called the recommended storage quantity. It is also called as the RSQ. So what that means is sometimes inventory is classified as waste, but it is not. Inventory is a competitive edge in most of the scenarios. But what is waste is an excess inventory. To declare an inventory as excess, you should know what is the ideal inventory. That is what we exactly do by calculating the recommended storage quantity. So in a nutshell, what recommended storage quantity does is consider all the different supply chain parameters and constraints and arrive at the ideal inventory level at each of the stocking points within the supply chain. So basis that ideal inventory, then we classify an inventory above that as an excess inventory. We would also drive inventory programs towards achieving the recommended storage quantity. So the metric which is used to evaluate this is the inventory turnover. Number 2, ABC analysis. It uses a Pareto analysis technique. Do a ABC analysis for a fast, slow and non-mover. It is also called as an FSN analysis. You can also do ABC analysis to arrive at your top performers by volumes. You can also arrive at your top performance by the sales value. You can also arrive at your top performance by the margins. So for all these things, the method what you use remains the same. By this ABC analysis, you can prioritize your SKUs such that you can focus your effort on. For example, if you are having 10,000 SKUs, it is humanly impossible to focus on all the SKUs and manage them. So by prioritizing your SKUs, you focus your effort on them. And this technique is going to be crucial and it indirectly helps you on the overall warehouse optimization. The third one is cubic space utilization. So the name comes from the length, width, height of the warehouse, and by cubic space utilization you are ensuring that you are utilizing your complete space within the warehouse to the brim. You should consider your entire warehouse and arrive at the cubic space utilization. Only then you will focus on your aisle space, you will focus on your processing areas, you will focus on your office areas. So every square feet within the warehouse will come into the radar such that you keep improving on them. The metric here is the cubic space utilization percentage. Number 4, concepting. Concepting is also called as slotting. What it does is, now in cubic space utilization, we talked about ensuring all the space are utilized. There you will take a decision of whether you are going for a rack, you are going for a bin, etc. So to decide that, the concepting is a sub technique which you used when you are trying to increase your cubic space utilization. So concepting ensures you don't have any space leakages within your storages. Fifth one is dynamic slotting. Once you decide on your overall facility layout design and storage structure design, now there is a question. Are you going to do a static slotting or you are going to do a dynamic slotting? Static slotting means you create a space for a product. If the product is not there also, that space will be empty. In dynamic slotting, when the product comes in, at that instance you decide where this product should go. So the location gets rotated for different products. Dynamic slotting is a very powerful technique, but you need to set those key storage and allocation parameters very clearly such that the system doesn't get confused. If you adopt dynamic slotting, but if you're not setting those parameters properly, it will have a direct negative impact on your put away efficiencies. The sixth one is material flow. So now there are different material flows. There is an I-type flow, there is an U-type flow, there is a L-type flow. But what is the crux of every material flow is you should ensure there are no crisscrosses within your warehouse movement. That is the key criteria when you are designing your material flow. A technique which can be extensively used for material flow is spaghetti diagram. It is a very powerful method by which you can arrive at all the unwanted movements within the warehouse, and then you will be able to streamline your overall material flow. The metric which is used to evaluate your material flow is called the throughput time. The seventh one is goal zone management. So let me first explain the goal zone. There are so many definitions available in the internet, but my way of defining a goal zone is the zone which is easily accessible to you. Depending on the profile of your warehouse, few locations will be very easily accessible. The locations which are closer to your dock is easily accessible. The locations which are on your ground shelves. Considering all these factors, you arrive at all the goal zones of your warehouse. Now, those goal zones of the warehouse should be treated same like gold. If a slow mover is sitting on that goal zone, you are wasting a lot in terms of your productivity. So that is what you try to achieve using goal zone, and the metric which is used to ensure you are following the goal zone management properly is your productivity of your fast moving SKUs. Eighth one is pick path sequencing. Pick path sequencing is again a very powerful technique in terms of picking efficiency. So what it does is it automatically generates a pick list in such a way that if the picker follows that sequence as described in the pick list, he won't do any crisscross movements, or you won't do any backtracking of movements, leading to improvement in picking efficiency. Ninth one is material handling. And same like how you design a storage, a material handling has to be designed. If you are coming up with a material handling design and you are pumping in huge capital, and if it is not giving you the return on investment, that means you have not done a proper material handling design. You need to ensure that you design your material handling aligned with your requirement of the business, such that those investment gives you a return on investment. Metric what we use here is utilization of material handling equipment. Last one is WMS, warehouse management system. So there are WMS as a full-fledged software available, or WMS as a module is available in many ERPs. What is so important is choosing the right WMS which suits your warehouse operation. If you do that, WMS will not be a bottleneck for you. WMS will be a great value add to the business. Okay, so these are the 10 concepts which will help you to optimize your warehouse. So within this 10 techniques, what I have just explained is just the brief about each technique. If you want to know more in detail about a technique, just go down to the comment and then write which technique you want to hear in detail. So last, what I'm going to do is also show you the impact. So as you can see, I have quickly shown which concept impacts space, which concepts impacts flow, and which concept impacts the handling, and all these concepts impact the cost. So these are the 10 key concepts which will help you on optimizing your warehouse. So thank you so much. Feel free to write back to me if you have any questions or clarifications. I would be glad to answer them for you.